glasses. So I need some dark glasses on. No, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
All right, just Roy Orbison. Are you ready?
Wait a minute, I just got to.
Hey.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. So Dad,
Mhm.
why don't you tell me your whole given name and your birthday?
It's just Elder Jones, no middle name. Birthday is December 9th, 1918.
1918, and you were born
Chattanooga, right?
Yeah. And let's see, when did you first go to, or when did you sign up? Or tell me how the whole story began
Oh, well.
of how you became a pilot in the Air Force.
Well, war broke out in December
And
7,
where were you before that?
1941.
Were you in college or?
I was working.
Oh, you were already
Yeah,
working.
I was
Okay.
working. And when war broke out, that was in December 7, 1941. So several of us had turned in our resignation for jobs to go ahead and join up. So I did. I went down, just joined up in the Air Force, just to book private. And so I wanted to fly, and you required 2 years of college at first, and I only had 1 year business college, so that wouldn't qualify me for it. But later on, they needed pilots so badly that they designed a test you could take. If you could pass it, well, you'd qualify. So I took the test, qualified, so then I got to go to pilot training.
And now where did you go to pilot training?
Well, I first went to Arcadia, Florida for
Oh, okay.
pre-flight, primary training. Then I went to Bainbridge, Georgia to fly a little bigger plane. And then I went to Columbus, Mississippi to fly twin-engine planes. And then from there, I was commissioned second lieutenant. I went to Smyrna, Tennessee to learn to fly B-24s, four-engine planes.
Now, a span of time, how long a span of time was that you were
That's about
training?
10 months.
18?
10.
10 months?
Mhm.
And then off you went.
Well, yeah, well, we went. So we went to, we went down through South America, through,
So from Smyrna, Tennessee, is that the right name of the town?
yeah, Smyrna,
Okay.
S-M-Y-R-N-A.
And then you went to South America?
Well, to fly over to Africa and then fly on up into Italy where we were going to fly our combat missions.
Oh.
That was just the route we took.
And how long would you fly till you had to land? I mean, I don't know anything about how much gas you had back then. And a plane,
Well, I couldn't tell you how
much
much gas,
speed?
but I know we took off at 1 o'clock in the morning from Belém, Brazil, to fly across to Dakar, Africa, and it was the blackest night I ever saw. And we flew all night in that dark, and we landed Dakar in the next morning.
did you have radar or what?
We had a navigator, and what he did is he flew what they call a landfall, like we're going right here. So instead of aiming there, he would fly to a place over here and time it, and then turn in to the. I don't know why they seem to think that's safer, because if you miss it some way, you just go on and on. This
Right.
way, you know you've gone far enough, and you turn, and you got the time, you can start looking, and they just figured that's a better way to fly it.
And then from Africa, how long were
Oh.
you there?
Well, I just stayed in Africa. We got a group together, and we flew up to Italy, to a little town called Spinazzola. That's where we had our base. And what they did, they got a farm and just requisitioned it, I guess. Anyway, they had these steel matting runways that there's big pieces of steel, little holes punched in them. And they put them on the ground and wired them together, and that was our landing strip.
Wow. And now the same people that you left from Tennessee and went to Brazil and Africa, so you met all of your new squad in Africa, or Italy. That's where you got assigned.
Yeah, to Italy. It was in the 15th Air Force in
Yeah.
Italy.
And I don't know any lingo. I don't know anything. So
Yeah.
how many people were on a plane?
10.
10.
Sometimes you'd have a photographer to make 11.
Okay. And would you have the same people every time, or did you change?
No,
different
we had
people?
our crew. Of course,
Your same
sometime we'd
crew.
have to fly somebody else, somebody's sick, and excuse me. And our nose gunner, after a mission or two, he just passed out. He just couldn't take it anymore.
Really?
So yeah, so we had to turn around and come back one day and let him off, and then they took him to the hospital. But strangely enough, they gave him a lot of therapy, and he finally came back and joined the group and flew his missions and finished up.
So he just kind of snapped for a little
Yeah,
while.
he just snapped. He just went into a coma. So I can't face it. Just fainted, so to speak.
Wow, just shut down. Now, I do remember one story as a little girl, which of course sounded fascinating. As a little girl, it's people that would go AWOL. You told me one time that people would just fly to Switzerland and
Oh
leave.
yeah, some of them they just didn't want to fly combat anymore. Just afraid of getting shot down. So they would just say their plane broke down. They had to land in Switzerland, and they landed there. They interred them for the rest of the war.
Right. And did anybody from yours?
No,
Very well.
nobody I knew did. But we did have some that after they flew a few missions, they just said, "I'm not going to fly anymore." So they said, "Yes, you are. We're going to put you in a stockade here, and you can stay till the war's over." They said, "Okay."
Oh,
So
really?
we'd walk by there and say hi. There's behind this barbed wire fence, and they just said they weren't going to fly. I said, "I lasted out and be alive. Y'all go ahead, and you might be dead."
Well, I mean, are you just amazed that nothing worse happened to you all those years?
Well, at first, like most young kids, you think you're
How old
invincible.
were you?
I was 24 or 5, right in there, 25 when I went overseas.
Oh, okay.
But you
I mean-
think, like I had no doubts I was coming back when I went over there. And after I flew a couple of missions, I changed completely. I said, "Man, this is rough." I said, "I hope I can get shot down and be interned in Switzerland for the rest of the war."
Yeah,
I was thinking that would be a good thing.
right. So, now how many times would you fly? A week or a day or a month? Or did they have a break between each mission? Or
Well, we'd usually
does that
fly
work?
every other day, but once they had a schedule, we flew 3 days in a row. And I know Miles, our pilot, he went up there and he just broke down. He said, "I can't fly anymore till I rest." He said,
Yeah.
and so they scratched our mission that day.
Well, they could, because that's dangerous.
Well, it's tense. You're under a lot of tension. And
Wasn't it real loud
Stress.
and very cold up there with the plane?
well, we had all those big flak suits with the lining. It's 40 degrees roughly below zero, but we had heated suits too. So
Right.
we weren't uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. But you said that still, you wonder if your hearing was affected by flying all those.
Well, a lot of people say it was, and it could be because you get 35 planes, 4-engine planes, all in a big group. It makes a lot of noise. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be from here, and you'd have to scream at you to make you understand me. In fact, I got a picture someplace of me screaming back. Miles trying to tell him
Trying
something.
to scream at somebody. Say, no, and you were never shot down. You were shot
No.
at, but you were never shot down.
Oh, we
I
were
had-
shot at a lot. We had to come back with flak holes in our plane about every other mission. In our last mission, we got shot up pretty bad, but our hydraulic system was shot out. That's where our brakes were, and we had no brakes. And then we had to, our hydraulic system letting our wheels down was shot out, so we had to crank our wheels down when we come back to land. And when we cranked them down, one of them wouldn't lock because the lock had been hit by flak. So we couldn't crank it back up because there's an emergency system. So we had to land one wheel dangling, one locked down. And we knew it was going to fold up, but it did, and it just dug in the wing and turned off the runway a little ways. It wasn't bad.
Now, and that one you said that they made you land somewhere else. But would you always go back
Oh.
to Italy after every mission? Would
Oh
you
yeah,
always
we'd go back to our
the-
home base.
this
But that day we told them our problem. They said, "No, you can't land here. You might block the runway," and we needed to land planes coming in. So
Right.
they sent us over to a little town, not Genoa, but Giania, I think, in Italy. And that's where they salvaged planes and got parts. They had us
Right.
land there in case we cracked up some way.
Unless
it'd
you
be
had to be
dead.
salvaged.
Yeah, that was handy there.
Yeah.
But all it did is the wheel folded up, the wing dug in, a lot of dirt flew up,
Yeah.
and that was it.
So, how long were you there total overseas?
I was over there about 10 months.
10 months. So you did 10 months of training here in America, more or less.
Yeah,
And then
it'd be
10
24,
months of
yeah.
combat.
Mhm.
And then when you came back, what
Well,
happened?
came back, then I started flying gunners in Tyndall Field down in Panama City, Florida. We'd fly gunners around. They'd shoot at these fighter planes coming in to attack us, but they wouldn't shoot real bullets. They had what they call frangible bullets. They were kind of clay, and they would hit those fighter planes. They had a skin and an electric wire, and when you'd hit it, it'd make contact, and a light would flash in the nose of the plane telling the gunner he got a hit.
Oh, so this was all just practice run.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
but-
training gunners, what it was.
Training.
Mhm.
And how long were you in? And was that for what war? Was that
Oh,
just
that was World War II.
That was,
Yeah.
So did you come, how much, when did you leave before the war was over? Were you there till the end, or
Oh, I came back from overseas before the world was over.
how much longer?
We got points for flying so many missions. And when you got so many points, you come back home.
And
And the
just-
war was still going on when I came back
For
because
how
I had
much
a lot of
longer?
points.
How much longer?
I guess about 3 or 4 months. I don't remember.
Yeah. And then how long were you in Panama City?
I was there about 10 months. They sent me to, well, they were going to send me to Chanutfield, Illinois, and I hated that place. I'd been there before, and we just had Tina, the baby, born in Panama City,
Yeah.
Florida. So I went up to complain, and they finally sent me to Montgomery Field, and so I was stationed there for a while.
Why did you hate Illinois? Cold?
Cold. I'd say no barracks. It didn't have any insulation in February, and I left Mississippi to go up there with with no winter clothes, and I like froze to death.
Oh gosh, I bet you did. And did they, how did you walk away from the Air Force? I mean, did they want you to stay? Did you want to stay?
Well,
Or
I
what-
stayed. Yeah, they wanted to stay in. In fact, I stayed in for a while, and finally I decided that mother didn't want the Army life, the Air Force, so I'd
Did she
signed
want
up.
it?
No, so
No.
I'd
That
signed
was
up to stay
indefinite,
indefinitely, and so she said, "Did you sign up indefinitely? I don't want to stay." So I went up and asked them, could I change it, and they said, "Yeah," and I said, "Well, I want out immediately,"
Oh,
so I got out.
there you are. So you kind of,
And the war wasn't over, but see, I had enough points I didn't have to stay in unless I wanted to, because it was winding down.
yeah.
There's no doubt about we was going to win the war.
Now, and did you continue to stay in touch with your crew? Did you lose anybody from your crew, your own?
Overseas,
Yeah.
no, we had one, our waist gunner that got hit in the hand with some flak and got a Purple Heart. And that was it. We got a lot of flak in the plane. In fact, I had a gap about that long, about that wide between my rudder pedals, and where that went, I don't know. I got a little piece of flak in my hands, all I got. And I don't know where in the world that went. And I know the engineer called me back after and said, "Don't you fly the plane?" Says, "Your controls are shut out." I said, "Well, look again, because I'm flying it and it works all right." And he come back to me and said, "No, it's automatic pilot control shut out." I said, "I thought they were yours."
Oh,
The flak had just hit the cords and cut them in two, you know.
yeah. Oh, gosh. So, did you see any planes go down in front of you?
Oh
or-
gosh, yeah, I saw one blow up in front of me, and it was flying out to the right. It wasn't in front of it. 'Cause it blew up. I saw the blast in it here. Real big propeller went over the wing, kinda, and we had a lot of planes. I saw my Lieutenant Colonel Crowder on our, I guess it might have been my first mission. It was his second or third mission, and his plane got hit and blew up, and that was the end of our commander. We had to get another one.
Wow.
So I always had a lot of them shot up. Not too many of them blew up, but they'd be shot and you could see them going down. Know they'd lost power and propellers, the engine. I've saw some of the 2 engines going down. They couldn't stay up that height on 2 engines with
Right.
still trying to drop their bomb load.
Now, how many, I'm asking a lot of questions
That's
because I
all
just
right.
don't know anything about planes. How many bombs does the B-24 carry?
Well, it depends on what kind. Some mission would fly and drop incendiary bombs. They would hit and go over and set fire to everything.
Uh-huh.
Others we put big 1,000-pound bombs, and it would blow up and explode and just blow up the whole area. And see, you take a whole flight of a squadron of planes all dropping 1,000-pound bombs, you can blow up a big area.
Oh,
So we'd hit factories like we hit a ME-109 factory, we manufactured fighter planes up in right out of Munich, and no, that was a tank works. I forgot where it was. Anyway, we just hit different targets, but mostly we seemed to hit marshalling yards, trains in the, lining up and getting loaded to ship supplies out.
Oh.
We bombed a lot of marshalling yards, and we bombed.
Marshland?
They call them marshalling yards. I don't know why,
Oh,
but
okay.
they have all these tracks. They put them in, and they line them up to the train, put in certain
Oh,
cars,
okay.
certain places where
And
they're
how
going to
many
drop off.
bombs would be on your plane on one mission?
Well, there
One?
again, depends on what
10?
kind of bombs.
Well, I mean, if you had
Usually, I
the
think the
1,000
most
pound
we
bomb.
had was 2 bombs.
Oh,
is
okay.
the
That's
least
what I was
number.
saying. And how long from getting back from your home base was the longest mission you ever had to fly there and back? Like 8
Well,
hours?
one I think
10
it didn't
hours?
show it there about 9 hours, but I think the mean time was about 10 hours. That's the
Did you
longest
get
one.
lunch?
No lunch.
Did they give you a snack?
No snack.
Okay. Well,
I came back. I think
I bet they would let you be hydrated. You could have water. You
we
probably-
had water, yeah,
Yeah.
but we didn't have anything to eat unless you snacked through some crackers or something.
Yeah.
But we ate as soon as we got back. Usually they briefed us on the mission, what happened, and everything. Then we'd go eat.
Oh, okay.
They, asked everybody what they saw, and with the bombs hit on the target, or do any fighter planes, and all kind of questions. They debriefed you, they call it.
Did you ever have to parachute?
No, I never did, and I'm very thankful. 'Cause I went out and looked out the bomb bay, the old doors open one day, and I said, now I'm going to jump out here, just make believe. And I said, not until I have to.
Right.
I wasn't like you jumped out.
Oh, well, yeah. But, I mean, you were trained to.
Oh, yeah.
So if you had
Oh, no, I wasn't trained, they just gave us parachute. I was trained when I got back, I got parachute training
Oh, okay. But I
after
mean,
I'd been to
if you had
combat.
to jump,
But they
hope for the best.
didn't have time to train us for everything.
Yeah. I guess that was it. I guess time was just of the essence to get everything right.
Yeah, 'cause they needed us worse than we needed the parachute training, so we went over. But I did get it when I came back.
Yeah. Well, here, you need a little break from the light? Is this
Oh,
right?
not
Your eyes are
particularly.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing fine. You do good.
Yeah.
Good questions. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Well, should we
This
go
is
with-
wonderful.
Pictures, or you want to get over to Fred now? I mean, I kind of got my overall summary.
Yeah, this is wonderful. You did a nice
No,
job. It's very
I
interesting.
think, do you think it wouldn't hurt probably both of us asking questions? Or
Sure,
you
sure.
guys are the professionals, I just,
No, no,
Dinah,
no,
you're
no.
doing a great job.
What, I'd
I
say,
mean, you know,
what you
Yeah.
have there, what you,
Well, I do know one story that that
keep
you
going.
told me, that, and then
no,
you
no,
go
you
on.
keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Well, because I don't know any more factual. I don't know technical questions.
Yeah.
This right here, this picture. I remember you telling me a story that was your bomber jacket and you had to turn it in.
Yeah,
When
we
you-
turned those in, flat
And
suits.
and after about 40 years later, you said, "Why the heck did I turn that jacket in?"
Well, they had a bomber jacket. They just didn't have all the fur on it, and most guys kept theirs, but I turned mine in like a good soldier.
Like a good soldier. But I think he would have deserved. I think he deserved to have that jacket after doing 51 missions.
My dad kept his.
Well,
so who's this?
I
this
think
is
most
Elder.
everybody
This
did.
Is my dad.
I thought that was you.
No, that's a joke of how much we look like each other.
No, actually, you do.
I mean, that's why it looked like
Yeah.
I was in a costume or something. But that's Elder Jones at 25.
That is me. Yeah, about 25 years old, I guess. I don't remember where I had that picture taken.
Okay. See, look at those crooked teeth.
Yeah, crooked.
Got those same
I
smile.
got one broken off, it stuck way down.
And if there wasn't
It
for
looks a little more even.
braces, I would have the exact
Yeah.
same teeth as you.
I was getting a drink of water, and somebody at high school, they pushed my head down and broke off that tooth and healed them
Ow.
up.
Completely. Now, and let's see, what other? Yeah, and this is your
This is our crew, yeah.
Right, but show it towards the camera.
Yeah, no, I'll take it later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
show it later. Yeah.
Now, are any of them still alive?
Me and Miles.
Miles?
I think he's still alive. He was
Where
about
is he?
4 months ago. He's in El Paso, Texas.
But didn't you guys used to meet in Florida or?
Yeah,
try to
we
have
had a reunion down there, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got some pictures someplace of it.
And someone wrote a book too, right?
Oh, his wife
Yeah.
wrote a little book.
Was this it?
No, it's, wait, I'll go find it. It's in a clear plastic thing that size with blue inside
Oh,
behind the plastic. And it's his, Miles' wife, she kept a little diary of at home of what was going on.
Uh-huh.
So,
All right. There you go, Mom and Dad.
yeah.
Mom and Dad. But what was that? A captain out uniform?
No,
or a
I was a
lieutenant?
lieutenant. I was a lieutenant then.
And y'all got married right on the base?
No, we got married at Ridgeville Methodist Church.
Oh, okay. So you came up here and
Yeah,
then went
mm.
back to Panama.
Yeah, yeah. When I came back from overseas, we got married.
Did they ever let you take that uniform off? Well, you were out.
Oh yeah,
Well, sometimes, okay. But I guess it was just proper to get
No,
married in
it
it
is-
back then.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't think I had any decent civilian
And
clothes
then
in.
there, private
Oh,
lieutenant.
no, it's a lieutenant.
So you weren't in private very long.
No, well, yes, I was. 'Cause I went in and I wanted to fly, and I had to have a birth certificate, and I tried to get it, and Daddy, I don't think he wanted me to fly. He kept saying, "I'm trying to get it."
Oh, he couldn't find it. He didn't
But
want to.
finally, I said, "Get a lawyer or something, give me it," and he
My
finally
birth
got it.
Oh, okay.
So then I got it and took the test at Chanukville, Illinois. You know, I didn't have 2 years of
What were
college.
some of the questions they would ask him at that?
Oh gosh, they asked everything, even the art questions about pictures. Who painted this picture? It was so comprehensive. It covered about everything. I don't know why.
Wonder who made that test.
And you had the math problems, the English problems, art problems. It just really strange kind of.
Uh-huh.
Then after that, we had to go to Nashville to take these tests where you had to, they had a disc with a little dot on it. You'd have to hold a thing on there while they run around and make a connection. Then they'd get a bunch of, "You think you're going to be a pilot?" I'd go like- So they gave us all kind of psychomotive tests too. But that was one of them I never forget because I jumped out of my skin. I didn't know anybody was even behind me.
They scared you.
Yeah. But then we had other things like you was flying a plane, you'd have to keep things lined up and line up that these things show depth
Almost like a
perception.
pinball machine, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they give us a lot of different
So
things.
that you were playing with instruments, and then you were playing with the real thing.
Yeah, right. But they had pretty good tests for you.
Uh-huh.
They let
Go back in perhaps in the war years in terms of going over there and some of the experiences. What were you like? Go ahead,
Okay.
Abby, but what was this more memorable experiences of flying
Yeah.
over there? What's some of the highlights?
Yeah, that's what I was going to. What, like, if you were going to say, like you, let's go back to where you said that you were like courageous and you were hip and oh, I can do this, I can fly all this, and you said like your second mission, you weren't.
Yeah,
so
about
afraid.
second or
So
third.
what
I recall when I
happened?
saw these planes getting shot down and all that flak popping, I said, "Oh," said, "Maybe they can't hit me." But it kind of changed my mind after I saw a plane hit and go down. I thought,
Kind
"Ooh."
of became humble. Huh?
Yeah, I knew the guy, little Jewish boy on there, had Abraham. That wasn't his name. Anyway, he was on the plane that got shot down, but he was a prisoner of war. I learned later from that book I have there.
Uh-huh. Now, where did can you, did you know anyone prisoner of war over there? I mean, how did that work?
Well, I wasn't a prisoner of war. I
I
didn't
know,
see him.
obviously.
Yeah. Mm.
But how did were they ever released before the war was over or not?
Yeah, a lot of them that got shot down over Yugoslavia. They'd get back to Yugoslavia. They'd get us back to Italy. They had two kinds of Chetniks and something else fighting each other over there, but they were
They're
both.
still fighting it.
They both would get you back to your home base. If you could get shot down over Yugoslavia,
Oh, okay.
you'd usually get back in a week or two.
Right. Well, can you think of any story that just sticks out of your mind? I mean,
Well, one sticks out. I think about combat mission. This was as scary as a combat mission almost. We were coming in to land, and Miles was flying, and we'd been up high, you know, and
no,
been
it's
shot
Miles
up.
the navigator.
Miles was the pilot,
Pilot.
now it's co-pilot.
Okay, co-pilot.
And we'd been up at altitude and got hit with a lot of flak, but we was flying okay. And coming down, somebody cut us out of the traffic pattern. He pushed on the throttles real hard, and our supercharger had been hit and stuck closed. And that supercharger went on with all that power and all this heavy air, and it just blew up, and the engine caught on fire. And that was on the final approach, and that was scary too.
Oh my.
And evilly, our engineer, he got the fire put out and got the gas cut off, and we was okay. But that was a scary moment there.
Yeah. How far were you? How high up?
Oh, we was about, I guess, 30 feet off the ground. We was about to land when it happened.
Right.
So we had to go around because the engine's on fire.
Yeah.
and somebody cut us out. That's where the pattern landed in front of us, which is a dirty thing to do. But
Yeah.
see, we had to go around and keep them laying on top of him.
Right.
So that's when the engine blew up and caught fire.
Now, did you have any off time in between, or?
Oh yeah, we'd fly. Usually, when we were flying and the weather's good, we wouldn't fly but every other day at the most. But once we had to fly, they scheduled us for a third day, and Miles went up and said, "We're too tired, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we can go." So they canceled our flight.
Right. And can you think of any other mission that frightened you, or do you just?
Well,
I guess probably all of them.
that one that the plane blew up in front, and I
Yeah.
saw that propeller twirling by. That's kind of scary. Then I saw another plane that gas was just pouring out of it. And God, I thought, Lord, I don't want to be close to that thing. But he didn't blow up. I don't know. They got it shut off somewhere. But you just see gallons of gas coming out of that thing.
So in a way, all the stories you're telling me are so.
Ask him what it was like to fly over Ploesti.
Okay, what was it like to fly over Pulaski?
Well, it's pretty scary because it was considered the roughest target in the world. And they had flak guns on railroad tracks, they tell us, because I know we started hitting flak, I guess, 30 minutes it seemed like to me before we got to the target. And then we got the target, we turn, you go to the initial point, you're flying in, so they can track you with their anti-aircraft guns. You turn, then they got to start adjusting. So we'd go to what we call the initial point and turn and go over the target. And we were in anti-aircraft fire way out here over the target, way on back. And I was so glad to get out of there because you just see flak going off, flak clouds every place. And I saw Tootin, one of our group, I saw him going down, 2 engines are out. And so he couldn't make it back, so he was just gradually going down and hunting a place to land, I guess. But he
Did we
got
ever-
back eventually.
Well, gosh, I mean, so many of the stories you tell me are actually just miraculous in
Yeah.
a way. You know, maybe we've all watched too many war movies where everyone dies, but I mean, these are miracle stories. It's just.
Well, I watched
I
that
think you
movie,
were-
Memphis Belle, and I thought, well, that's not so unusual. So that's kind of routine.
What was meant for?
There's a story about this B-17 plane that got shot up, and there's, you know, what all's happening while they was trying to get back, and the hydraulic system shot out, they're trying to patch that up and all that, and I thought, well, we went through all that.
Not that far off.
But we had a good flight engineer. He could get things to recognize what had happened and do something about it. I know when we were coming in and wants to land and the engine flew up, man, he fettered that thing with, I mean, he had the gasoline cut off and I fettered it, and it was all just in a matter of seconds, it seemed like.
Right. Now, who would you think? I can't say who is the most important person on a crew, but what does? Tell me some of the jobs. Okay, there was the pilot, the co-pilot, the engineer. What else?
Pilot, a co-pilot, engineer, he's also the top gunner. Then you have the bombardier, navigator, there's in the nose wheel. and then you have the nose gunner, then you have the tail gunner, then you have the ball turret gunner, that little ball down under the plane, where I wouldn't like to be because all you can see is space. and our tail gunner, he is an alcoholic. I mean, our ball turret gunner. And I can understand why. Because he'd come up there after mission and stuff and he'd get me to go get him some gin at the officers club.
Oh, give me some gin, I knew it. So can y'all think of any other questions, or Fred, you ready to move in?
Right. I mean, just however you all wanna do this, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
still
I
Fred
think
in there.
Well, maybe if you're exhausted,
And of course, you guys, do you have any-
pick over there and get one with
Huh?
Go pick up and get one with close.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what I was thinking about. What is like your everyday life over there? I mean, when you woke up, let's say you came back from a mission that night, you got 2 hours sleep. What did you think the first morning, or what?
Well,
did you
I'd
think the
start in the
day-
morning because we'd get up usually about 4:30, something like that in the morning, and we would go eat. I can't remember where we ate or brief first. Anyway, I think we would go eat first, then we'd come back to the tent while, then we'd go back and then they'd brief us on the mission we were going on, and then we'd go back and get all ready.
Now tell me about a briefing. I mean, exactly. Does it take
They
30
ta-
minutes, 20 minutes? Do they
Oh,
tell you
about 30
your-
minutes, I guess.
your-
What they
where
do
you're
is they
flying?
tell us, say we're flying here and this is the route we're going to take. And said when you hit land here, said there might be some enemy aircraft fire, or there might be fighter planes in that area. They'd tell us what to expect, and then they'd tell us that what they could tell about the weather, whether the weather was going
Right.
to be good or
Didn't
bad.
think about that.
And
And did you ever have a flight canceled because of the weather?
oh yeah, we have to cancel. We get out ready to take off, and
Scarlett, were you good? Okay.
And
She
the-
goes, she's not real fast. Okay.
the weather'd be kind of iffy, you know, so they thought if it clears up, we're going, but we couldn't plan on it the last minute, so we just plan on going.
Here,
And
let's wait 1 second. No. Here, I'll get Mother going for you.
Get that out of your way.
I stuck her on the porch. So, that's good. I thought about that before we started. I said, I should really take the phone off the hook. But anyway.
Well, that's okay, but
So anyway, so we were talking about
the briefing,
the briefing. So that's what you do. You have your breakfast, you go for your briefing. They would tell you the
Hey.
route you were going to take, where you might
Where we're
get
going.
attacked, possibly, and the weather.
yeah, and tell us what kind of bombs we were
You're
going to
gonna
drop,
carry.
and
Right.
give us all the details of the mission, where we might expect fighter planes in this area, and maybe flak in another one, and the weather. Of course, they said as far as we know, the weather will be clear, but we had a radar plane that could see through the clouds, and they'd go with us, and when they'd drop, we'd drop.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So they were studying your diet.
So we hope we hit the target.
Yeah. And then you would just go back. I mean, but what went through your mind while you were in the barracks or sitting? I mean, did you miss mom, or did you?
No, I don't know.
Oh, don't tell us
We
that.
just
Don't tell us.
no, we just general talk, and we didn't talk about the mission too much. We just briefed on it. We knew pretty much what everybody else did.
But I mean, did you make friends, or did you?
Oh yeah, we
Different
were all
personalities,
we
or
were
how
all
many-
friendly, but
Did you have any characters?
you had your own little tent area. They're the main ones that you went with. But your whole area, you were friendly, but you had closer friends. Like the navigator and I, we were kind of close buddies. We'd go in town on our off days where we'd usually go together and stuff
Where
like
was he
that.
from?
He was from where? Out west, Kansas, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just go out together, kind of.
Yeah. It was just someone that you
Yeah.
had.
But a lot of
camaraderie
times it'd be maybe 4 of us go, or even our ammunition officer, he'd go with us sometimes, and just everyone. But Baker and I are the closest, I guess, together.
Yeah. Now, was there ever danger? What, the Garnet's asking? Write letters? Yeah, what about these letters? I mean, did you ever write letters?
To Mom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're around here
Yeah.
someplace.
But, what did you tell her in your letters besides telling her how cute she was?
Well, I'd tell her, what's going on as much as I could, and now I missed her.
Yes, okay. Well,
Stuff
that's
like
good.
that.
And missed her cooking or something
And-
like
Huh?
that. Did you have horrible food over there?
Have what?
Horrible food?
Well, yes, pretty horrible sometimes. It was edible, but sometimes it was bad. I know we came back from mission, all I had was green canned beans. And I've never had like green beans since very much.
What about spam?
Did they have
Spam, we had some spam, but we didn't have as much as most people, I think. But it wasn't great, but I could eat it. Hungry enough.
Yeah, I guess that's hungry enough. Now, was there ever your base in danger? Did anybody ever try
No,
to attack
we
your
were
Air Force
we were
bases?
too far down in Italy for the fighters to get down there.
But would fighters attack Air Force bases?
Oh yeah, we'd run into fighters going on to our targets.
Right. And you never had to fly over to England that way, or
Fly where?
over England? I mean, the furthest
Oh,
north
no,
you went
no.
was
We
Germany
flew up-
or Austria?
We'd fly up to. I checked once. I think I bombed 7 countries: France,
Nice.
Germany, Italy, Romania, Austria, Hungary. I don't think we ever hit Poland, but and Yugoslavia.
Oh, okay.
That's where our targets were.
And the cities, or well, you said it wasn't cities; it was like the scramble.
Well, we wouldn't
yards.
try to hit the cities.
Large
We'd just try to hit the
Yeah.
manufactured plants and
Exactly.
trains and oil fields and stuff like that.
Right. Did you ever meet any?
Oh yeah, we missed.
No Germans. Well, did you miss?
We
So
missed a
there's-
target. I know the first mission we went on, I think we was bombing an airfield in Yugoslavia, I think Mostar, and the bombs hit one side of the field. One of them knocked out one plane. And that was our first mission. We got better.
Oh,
In fact, we were the best bombing group in the whole Air Force over there, 15th Air Force.
oh, really?
Yeah, we got cited for it.
Oh, cool.
For hitting the most
We're
targets.
hitting the most targets.
Yeah,
Is that it?
Is
yeah,
that,
the
I
most
mean,
accurate. And
Most accurate.
I don't know how they graded. Most accurate and most missions flown without turning back. Every once in a while people would find a reason to turn back.
Y'all just kept on going.
I know we turned back once and we were flying tail end Charlie. That's the end of it. And our tail gunner's gun went out. So Miles said, I'm going back. I know they're going to bless me out, but we did, and they did. They just blessed us out good. So that was no excuse,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't matter.
Well,
We still had to fly the same amount of missions.
yeah. Now, did you get a medal for being the highest bomb squad?
We got a
Excited.
presidential unit citation.
Oh, okay.
That's that little blue ribbon I got in the.
Should we
Thing.
do the medals at some point? Not yet.
Ask him, let me ask, did you land with your bombs, with a full load of bombs?
Yeah. Did you ever land with full load of bombs?
No, we would drop them in the Adriatic Sea or something because it's just too dangerous. They said to bring them back, so we just drop them in the sea.
So, in other words, you could land
To
and it could
salvage
go
it.
off?
Huh?
And if it could land and it could go
They
off?
they should go off because they weren't armed, but they just wouldn't let us land on the field with them. If we had to bring them back, they'd say, dump them in the Adriatic Sea out there. Don't bring them back.
Huh. Well,
Because
better be safe than
something could happen. Somebody might have bumped one of those little propellers that they spin to arm it. When they go off, they'll spin. The wind would turn it. And if one of them were to go off, man, that'd
sorry. It'd be the
blow up
end
a
of-
whole flight of airplanes.
Yeah, with that'd be the end of your base,
Yeah.
or part of it.
Yeah. So we never brought them back.
Okay.
Never landed with them.
Well, I am gonna hand you over to Fred and
Okay.
see if we can get a little bit more technical questions.
All right.
It's the same thing.
Okay, anytime you're ready then.
Yeah, do I need to state my name? or-
No, not right, no. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Your daughter did a wonderful job,
Yeah.
and what I wanted to ask you questions on was pertaining to your number of combat flights that
Mhm.
you've had.
Yeah.
How many missions combat missions did you fly?
Actually, I think there were about 46, but a lot of them we got double credit until we reached 50. The reason for that was that in England, the 8th Air Force was flying 25 missions, and in Italy, they thought our missions were easier, so they said they would fly 50 in Italy. So we found out we were hitting some of the same targets that were rough, and so they said this is not fair, so they started giving double credit on some of the rough missions. Actually, some of the same ones that England hit, the 8th Air Force. So actually, when we got up to 50, you considered 50 missions, even though you might have only flown 46 or 7, something like that.
So when you got a double mission, that was heavy combat. I take
Yeah, that was like Ploesti, the roughest target in the world. That was a double credit mission.
it. Now, I was looking over your war records or your individual combat records, and it looks like you had you had 16 double combat missions.
Yeah, they were-
16's kind of unheard of, isn't it?
Well, it's,
Huh?
they were just as rough missions, so they wanted to give us double credit for them because they said they were as bad as 2 single missions.
That's what I understood. Now let me ask you this: I take it that when you were in combat, you were in the European. What would that area theater be called?
That would be the European theater.
And that's where you mainly flew your combat
Yeah.
missions.
I flew out of Italy, the 15th Air Force.
Uh-huh.
There's a little town called Spinazzola down south of Rome.
Mhm.
It was just an old farm that they'd laid down these steel mat runways and made an airfield out of it.
I see. Now, did you run into much when you were in aerial combat
Mhm.
in the air? How did you ever get close to any of the German fighters or pilots, the fighter pilots? Did you ever within, you know?
Yeah,
did you kind of wave at them out there at a distance?
yeah, I remember one of them flying out to my right, and I was looking at him, and he was looking at me, and I wondered who was going to do what.
And what happened?
Well, finally he made a pass turning in and to attack us, you know, and boy, all of our gunners let loose on him. I never saw so many tracer bullets going, and as soon as they started hitting, I think some of them hit him, he turned around and left.
I see.
So, but he got close enough I could wave at him, but I don't think I did. About a good,
You might have been doing something other than
yeah,
waving.
right, yeah.
And when you were in combat like that, what was the pulse of everybody in the plane, the crew? In other words, you all had to be scared to death.
Yeah,
Every
we were.
flight. I mean,
Well, you're scared, but you still have your faculties about you. I mean, you're not terrified and nervous and going berserker and thing like that, but you're scared. But actually, I think it makes you more accurate in whatever you do. You're so tense, you won't do everything right.
well, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yes. Now, let me ask you this: how many people have flown? Have you ever heard a number? How many people have flown 50 missions within that theater?
No, I have no idea.
There couldn't be many, are there? Have you ever heard
Well,
a number?
No, but I might have it someplace. I don't know. I mean, the ones that flew in my bomb group. In fact, it's probably got it in there. All the members that flew into the bomb group, but see, it'd be individuals. Let's see, so it's been so long since I looked this book up.
Dan, I think he's asking how many people flew 50.
Right here. Oh, well, most all of these flew 50, but some of them was injured and didn't fly them, and some of them might have had other reasons, health reasons, and so on. But I really don't have any accurate estimate on it even.
Well, you're very humble about all this, but, I had read in a book a few months back, a gentleman that was in the Flu B-24s,
Mhm.
and he was talking about pilots, the crews that flew.
Mhm.
And his comment was that if you flew 10 missions, you were considered lucky. And if you flew 15 missions, you were considered in awe, your
Yeah.
friends. And then it said if you flew 25 missions, you were almost spiritual or godlike.
Yeah.
People wanted to touch you. And that was just on 25 missions.
Uh-huh.
So when you go from 25, I believe you flew 51 missions, correct?
Well, yeah, I have credit for it. I actually flew 40 something, but some of them were double credit, so it added up
That
to
doesn't
51.
matter, though. Those were missions you got, weren't they?
Right.
So you
I
flew
got credit
51.
for them.
There you go, and you should have. What was your toughest assignment, do you think, when you were flying? As far as what you
Toughest
recall?
mission, you mean?
Yeah, what was the toughest mission that you just knew was going to be tough, and et cetera?
Well, I always thought Ploetz would be tough. It was, but the last mission I flew on ended up to be the toughest one that we had, the Zwolle faction, because they had their anti-aircraft down accurately. I know I saw in our group we lost 5 planes. 2 of them went down over the target, and the other 3 didn't make it back. So that's just out of our group, and I thought, man, 5 planes out of 35, and I got to fly 50 missions. That's bad odds.
That's what I was saying. It's not good odds. is
No,
what I
it
read.
wasn't. But of course, that was an exceptional mission. We didn't lose that many on every mission. Some we didn't lose any. Yeah. So it,
Now, what was the importance of Pulaski?
well,
Ploesti.
it was
Ploesti.
it was a oil field for the German Army and Air Force, everything. Most all of their oil came from that area. So destroying their supply of oil really is what led to their defeat, I think, in the end.
Did
Was
they
it-
actually ever take over that field, bomb that field? You follow what I'm saying? In other words, did they actually ever wipe that field out? The oil
No, I
fields?
don't think they ever wiped it out. They just hit it so much and cut back on their oil production so that they just couldn't survive. They needed, for their trucks, their planes, their cars, and all kind of reasons, and tanks and so on. So I don't think they ever knocked it out, although they did send in dive bombers to Laos to pinpoint the oil tanks that were left, to try to surgical eliminate them, you say.
I see.
Now, Fred, maybe you have some questions about your dad's missions that you would like to ask my dad about, or tell him a couple of stories that your dad told you.
Well, we kind of overlapped in
Yeah, I think
missions.
we're
and-
really kind of,
Oh,
really close.
Yeah, he's on Ploesti mission too, just different ones.
Right, within just a
but
couple
did he have
months.
any stories
Yeah.
that stick out?
The
that he
Allies
told you?
actually occupied Ploesti late in 1945, so they captured the field.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you this, when you went on your bombing missions, how often did you encounter fighter pilots from Germany? You follow what I'm trying?
Yeah,
I know they were
fighter-
shooting at you
fighter
from the
attacks.
ground and all that, but how often were the fighter pilots up there fighting you, the Germans?
They weren't many as you'd think, because I guess maybe the oil supply and they couldn't just get up a whole lot of fighter planes to attack us. Our main concern was anti-aircraft fire.
Okay.
That was the more dreaded of the fighters.
Uh-huh.
And 2, our fighters could fight back on those anti-aircraft. You can't do much; it's coming at you. And so our fighter gunners would keep the fighter planes at bay, kind of. And we also had fighter escort too.
Yeah.
They would cut them off a lot of times. We'd never even see them.
Well, I had heard that before on your escorts. Sometimes your escorts would almost run out of fuel prior to getting to the bombing target.
Well, that's right. That's when they came up with these wing tanks. They had little wing tanks they hung under the end of each wing, and extra supply gasoline. And they used up that gasoline first, and then they just dropped those tanks salvaged them.
Oh, I see.
So that way they managed to get fighters out to escort us farther on. So that was a big improvisation. It really helped out. Because, a bunch of fighters hit a bunch of bombers. they're pretty good at getting the bombers because the bombers are just going like that and they're going like this, you know.
Yeah.
So we're glad to see those fighter escorts keep them off.
Yes, yes.
But still, anti-aircraft was the biggest thing that we were hit with. It did more damage than anything.
Now, when that flak would, when you would be up there flying, and of course the flak from the guns and all that, I'd always heard people say that when that would happen, the pilot would always kind of turn into the flak. Instead of going away from it, you kind of turn in because you felt like the enemy was adjusting their guns to, I don't know if there was any truth
No,
behind that.
no, I don't think, it might have been some cases, but we stayed in formation.
Yes, sir.
So we had to fly on the lead plane regardless what was happening. Whatever he did, we followed it.
Yes, sir.
And they would take evasive action sometimes when they thought it was getting too rough, but we would stay in formation. Because we got out of formation, that's when the fighters come in. They pick off one plane pretty easy.
I see. Now, how many, and when you went up on these missions, approximately how many B-24s usually went on a mission, so to speak?
I'd say between 30 and 35 out of our group. But there'd be other groups. We'd send up, I'd guess, once I think they said they sent up 1,000 planes on one mission, one day, 1,000 bombers. That's from all groups all over the whole area. So I guess they flew some out of England. I don't know.
What was that like? What was the event? What was the occasion for 1,000 bombers?
Just a big effort. You just make a big effort to destroy as much and demoralize them and do damage at the same time.
Now, to what country was that, or what area was that?
Well, that was, I was trying to think, that might have been on the Pulitzer raids, but there's also Vienna, Austria. They had a big plant manufacturing fighters up there, and I can't remember really. But they probably all went on 1,000 planes, but they all hit separate targets. They didn't all hit one target because
Yes,
it just be overkill.
Overkill, yes, sir, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, about what part of the war was that when you were in combat? Towards the earlier part of your stage or latter when that happened?
The latter part of the war, you mean, or
Yes,
earlier?
for you. When
I'd say it's about the middle.
Okay.
It wasn't the earliest, but it wasn't near the end at all. I'd say it's probably the middle part.
Okay.
Because it might have been more earlier for that particular mission, but I'd say probably about the middle.
Now, let me ask you this. What was considered your second toughest mission, do you think? I mean, I know they were all bad and tough and horrible, but
Well,
do you have anything in the back of your mind that just really sticks out?
well, to get back to the Zwolle faction, they just really had the anti-aircraft fired down to a T on that mission. And I mean, they were just hitting us right and left before we could get out of it. And I don't know, they shot down 5 planes out of our group, our squadron. But I guess that was one of the roughest one over the target. Yeah.
And then when you finished your combat, after your 50 missions plus, and you remained in the Air Force, and did you continue to fly? after
Oh
that?
yeah. I went to Smyrna, and then they would send me down to Tyndall Field, and there we trained co-pilots, and we also flew gunners at the same time, and they would fly, fire at these fighter planes attacking us with these frangible bullets.
Yes, sir.
They had those Bel Air Cobras. They were orange plane. They had a light in the center, and they had this fabric, and under the little wires that contact that light. And so we trained gunners, and when they'd hit those fighter planes, the light would go, and they'd know they got a hit. So we trained them and flew co-pilots, you know, to get them airtime too.
So you were actually an instructor towards the latter part of the
Yeah,
World War II
yeah.
then, I see.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we instructed those pilots to fly.
I'm not running out of questions. I'm just trying to. know if this would be a good time or not, you probably wanna wait till the end, but, CS medals and let Mr. Jones,
Yeah.
you wanna wait on that just a
Yeah,
little
what I'd
bit?
like to do is maybe,
And he's probably right, in a lot of cases they would. So,
Well,
It
it
is
was,
a beautiful country.
oh yeah, it
yeah.
is.
oh gosh, yes.
And they're
And
so
I-
clean, they keep everything
They,
so
they
clean.
really do, or we can take a lot of lessons from those people because of the way they keep up their roads and their houses and their yards. They're just fabulous gardeners and beautiful churches, and we enjoyed all our travels over in that part of the country. And we're lucky we got to go with our daughter and her son.
tell us a little bit, go back to the war times, your
Hmm.
correspondence, what was it like between the times? Did you
They-
ever get to see each other during the war? While he was while he was out there in,
How long were y'all separated?
What?
How long were y'all separated from each other?
Oh,
Oh, let's see.
just a year.
It wasn't even a year, 10 months, I
Yeah,
think.
10 months. Seemed like 10 years.
Because as soon as I flew my missions, I was eligible to come back.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I didn't have to go back on the
Yeah.
second tour.
but we rode every day.
Oh, you
You
did
know.
ride every day?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, some of them to me and some to other guys.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You tell about those you wrote to now, Mr. Jones.
That's
Well,
another story.
anyway, that's not true.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are survivors for sure. 65 years. And still trying to make a go of it.
it's a daily chore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
As long as you can cook for them, that's the main number one.
Yeah, if she quit cooking, I'd leave.
You bet. Like in a Broadway minute. Yes.
Well, if you ever find those letters, you might have to read a couple of choice excerpts for us.
Okay.
Did they actually censor your letters? Did they read them before they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would because they're afraid that they might give information that somebody could use it. The enemy could use it. It wasn't stuff like "I love you" and all that. It was something pertaining to the area and what's going on, stuff like that.
Wonder who read those.
That's a good question.
I mean,
Who wrote those? I don't know. I didn't.
And decided to
Oh, wow.
None of yours were censored much, were they?
Where all the novels come from.
say, exactly.
Novels.
well, no,
I
no.
hadn't thought about that, that's right.
Yeah, that would make good sense.
But he would tell you in the letters about having difficult missions and
Oh, yeah.
losing friends.
Yeah. Just to worry me.
Mhm.
Just to make me sad.
Worried me too.
Well, I know you's worried. But,
No, I didn't worry that much.
you know, it was a strange time now that we look back on it. It wasn't just us. It was everybody we knew right here in our town, plus the whole United States, all of our boys from all over, from every kind of family.
Were you on rations?
What?
Rations?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, yes.
Yeah, they had the green stamps. You could
Yes, we had
get certain things with it.
rations.
Meat
and
was rationed.
No coffee, no sugar. And back then I wasn't crazy about coffee. I guess that was good. But my parents were. And
And gasoline was rationed too.
oh, everything. Yeah, but we gave up everything we could, for our
Now,
boys.
could you send a gift?
Huh?
Could you send a gift to Vinny?
Yeah.
To-
We sent goodie boxes.
Cookies?
Yeah, boy. Made those cookies.
Homemade cookies.
Maybe that's why he came back.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
gave me an incentive, did it?
Yeah.
Magic cookies.
So what did you write to him about?
Oh, just everyday things, and mostly about I couldn't wait for him to get back, and mostly about love and all of that good stuff. But we were so young, I was 21, didn't know much except, when you're 21 back then, you didn't know much about anything.
I don't
But
think any of us did.
it was all right because my friends were with me. Whole bunches of girls would get together, and we were all had loved ones overseas, and my best friend, her husband, went to Greenland, and he flew little pilots, but he wasn't in combat. He was a pilot, and he flew little missions out of Greenland
Is that Carter?
to
Yeah,
wherever.
Carter,
Yeah.
he
to
flew a
wherever.
P-47 fighter plane.
I don't know where they went, but anyway, he was not in combat. And then my other best friend, her husband, flew the big, giant planes. What was the name of that one that Carl Davis flew?
He flew planes back and forth, different
Over-
planes. He'd take them overseas and drop them and come back and bring them. He was a, what do you call him, transport
Over the
pilot?
My
hump.
mother was a ferry
Transport.
pilot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She
ferry.
flew,
That's it. Thank you.
She delivered the airplanes
Yeah.
from the west coast to the east coast.
Yes.
and Then the men would fly them over the puddle.
Yeah,
yeah,
over the hump.
over the
You're
puddle.
right. And
Yeah.
and listen, that was unusual for a lady to be a pilot, and very unusual. And of course, I couldn't have done any of that. I tried to knit a sweater, and that didn't turn out too good. And they had us roll bandages for the soldiers. That was pretty simple. Just take some gauze and roll it up into little bandages. The Red Cross, we worked for the Red Cross.
They had the wax as a women's Air Corps.
Yeah.
They
My
did
mom
a,
was a WASP, a
WASP.
Women's
Wasp,
Army
that
Service
was the
pilot.
flyers. Yes.
And
Most
she
unusual.
flew fighters and bombers. In fact, I think that's what interested my dad in her. She was flying bigger airplanes than he was.
Yeah, you're right.
He was flying the little observation planes.
You're
Although
right.
his story is that she fell in love with his airplane first.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
and then went from there on up
Went
in
from there.
bigger planes.
Yeah.
Because the Germans seemed to have a lot of respect for flyers. I don't know why. But if you was in the infantry, God help you, they didn't care for them. But they say they were really nice to the American flyers. They just shot down. They had nice places for them to stay, good food. And so I didn't want to get shot down, but I hope I'd land in some good hands if I
That's
did.
what my dad always said. He said he had heard that the Germans, if you went down, you wanted to go to their hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had good hospitals.
Well, maybe if you ran out of food, good food, I mean, you didn't like the food at where you were.
And they probably had better food in Germany than we had
than they did
sometimes.
Where you were.
You know, some of ours are pretty lousy.
Well, I understand Jimmy Doolittle was the original commander of the 15th Air Force. Did you ever see General Doolittle while you were over there?
No, never did. I didn't know about him really until he flew on that mission to bomb Tokyo.
Yeah, he flew B-25s.
Yeah,
the same
B-25s.
planes My mom flew.
Yeah, that's right.
During the,
Yeah, they stretched it out and they made it.
they sure did. They got-
That's a big morale lifter.
I can imagine. So where were you on December the 7th, 1941?
I was bowling when I heard it on the speaker that the Japs had hit Pearl Harbor. So after that, I said, well, I'll be drafted eventually, but I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to go ahead and go in. So another fellow I worked with, we just turned in a resignation and said, we'll leave here in 30 days. That's all right with you.
So what did your wife-to-be say when you told her you were going to go into
Hey,
the
my
into
wife-to-be,
the war?
that was before I even knew her, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
What?
When the war broke out, I didn't know you.
Broke out.
Hmm.
I thought you said ended.
No, broke
No.
out.
Yeah.
Broke out.
Mm.
So
Oh, yeah.
you met her after you'd had enlisted?
Yeah, I came back. I was already flying and everything, and I had a big old Greek fella I chummed with up there at Smyrna, was flying B-24s and training. And I came home one weekend. I got him a day with a girl I'd grown up with, you know, just good friends, and said, "Give me a day with somebody you like," and she got me a day with Peggy.
And the rest is
The
history.
rest is
And
history.
guess where we went?
Where did y'all go?
Ruby Falls.
All right.
And I hate caves, but I would have gone down that cave anyway, and I did.
Did he ever take you to Rock City?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hmm.
Went there too.
And why would you want to go down the cave with him? Was it love at first sight?
Yeah, you're right about that. Nah, don't do it. Anyway, that was my date, and I mean, it really was. We just hit it from the very beginning, and we were very lucky. Lucky.
Was he handsome looking in that uniform with his
Oh, God,
cap
Yeah.
on?
just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
I ain't made hair when they took my hat off. I didn't have a lot, but it's beginning to go back a little. In fact, I told her when to get married, I said, "Now, one day I'm going to be bald, so you better make up your mind right now." So she said, "I don't care."
I don't get,
Well, you
no.
know, if you weren't bald or going bald, you'd look like you were probably 60, 65 years old.
Maybe so. I don't
Oh,
know.
I thought he
Would.
knew, see, back then, I thought he knew everything.
Well-
Back then.
Back then.
What changed your mind?
I don't know, just a few years of marriage, when I began to realize I might know something. But it's been a long time coming, and it's a lot of work. You work at it, you know,
Yeah.
day by day.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, boy. Try to get 4 kids, raise them, get them through college. A lot of work.
And
None
the
of them
braces.
got a scholarship,
Huh?
not a
And all of them
single
had to have braces to keep them having crooked teeth like mine. I kept that orthodontist in business for years.
Well, I still want to go back to the love affair. Was it love at first sight for you when you saw
I
him?
think it was probably. I might not have
You
recognized
think
that
it
many.
was?
Well,
Well,
that
look, get
very
the
second, I didn't think
But
much.
you told me it was.
Now, well, after I left, I said, "Hey, man, this is love at first sight."
Yeah, see.
Oh, good answer. Good comeback.
Oh my, we're just reminiscing way back.
Yeah, when we started dating, we never dated anybody else, did we? I didn't.
Mom, did you date anybody else after you met Dad?
No,
Okay, there you go.
no.
That settles
You
it.
mean while he was gone to the war? Well, maybe a couple.
What? Wait a minute
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Well, guys would come home
Knock on the door?
and I didn't have nothing to do. And somebody's gonna give me a free meal. And, that was nice.
That is right, Kelly controls the mind, the Spanish proverb that we saw.
Yeah, I was wondering about some of those letters I got were carbon copies, but I checked them out and I couldn't find it.
You know some names have been scratched
Yeah,
out. Tom, is that
it's a
what
little
that-
different color.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, one other quick thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think these medals that Mr. Jones
Yeah.
has,
Okay.
why doesn't
Here.
Garnet or Nina
I
ask
got it,
him
Greg.
about those?
Okay, let's just.
You get in there
You
and
just,
ask him.
I just want you to point and tell me what each one is here.
Okay, this one,
Are you hitting the light, hitting
Yeah,
it?
if at least do what you're doing. This is perfect. That's good.
Yeah, I just,
well, that's Distinguished Flying Cross, of course, as you can tell by
Little-
looking at it.
oh, okay.
And
Would
this
you
is,
explain a little bit the Distinguished Flying Cross? That's like comparable to like a Medal of Honor or something, isn't it?
I think it's more like the Silver Star.
Okay.
I don't think it'd go up to the Medal of Honor. And then this is the Air Medal, and it's got 3 oak leaf clusters. When they give you a medal and then give you another one, that you win another one, they give you a cluster to the one you have rather than give you another medal. And this is a residential unit citation, our unit was cited for
Right, being the best.
being the best. Of course, that's a good conduct medal. That's a good boy, and that was a American Theater ribbon.
What does that mean, American Theater Ribbon?
You was just in the American Theater, active in that
Oh, okay.
group. And that's a North African campaign medal because I was over North Africa before I went on up to Italy. And this is the Victory Medal. We won the war.
Oh. And then what are those?
Those are my captain bars.
Okay.
And that's the 15th Air Force insignia and the dog tags.
And then at the
I
very
didn't have
top
any-
of- I'm sorry.
Huh?
And
I
the
wanted to ask you on the
wings.
top.
The wings,
Yes, sir.
yeah, that's the wings, pilot's wings. And I wish I'd had a better picture than that, but anyway, it's going to suffice.
Oh, it's great. There we go.
Hmm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Tina, my oldest daughter, she got all those, they're just laying around. She just got them together and took them to Bristol and had them made up. I thought it was real nice.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
For
What you
things
would-
like this, Tina is good at
Well,
yeah.
Tina had made a video documentary.
There you go.
She just wanted domestic
What?
news off.
She's an overachiever. I mean, she told you. I noticed I'm an overachiever. Okay, well, I think we're